So I have this theory when it comes to the our level of desensitization in this, not just this generation, because it's not specific to the generation, but more to the era. So it could be any generation within this time era. And I feel like that the desensitization is kind of linked to our dependency and access and reliability on these handheld or in-home personal devices and technology, right? Because here's my theory, when, let's say about 2000 hit and we were still mainly beepers and whatever, our parents maybe had a beeper or a pager. I guess around 2006, texting was new. It was a new thing. You still had to do click the one button 5 times to get the thing. So it wasn't really something people were doing as a regular form of communication. And if you did get a text message, it was more like an urgency. It was kind of still like when you had a beeper. When someone beeped you, it's because they couldn't reach you on phone. So I don't know if y'all remember, but on pagers, you could send a very small message and it would scroll kind of like a marquee on the thing. And you could say, call me, or call number, or page, whatever. And you could list the number. So it was very simplified, very concise. You had to fit what you wanted to into a certain amount of characters or whatever. And then we did evolve over time to, the Blackberries, and it was like a whole keyboard, and that was more for the blogging. Texting was still not as regularly used just then. It was more for what was out at the time, instant message. People were still going online at that point, because now you can go on the internet on your phone, and they were going online and doing instant message. And it was still mainly a thing that was more utilized by still celebrities. I remember the Kardashians were huge with the Blackberries, and if you had a Blackberry, you were a really business savvy, and you needed it, right? Okay, so then fast forward to when it's more common use in the everyday person. We all have cell phones now, we all have the internet. So then text messaging blew up, right? We were still doing signatures on our text messages. We didn't have emojis yet. We had smileys that we were using. We were still texting the way that we would IM. I remember people would have their weird, the way we would, almost how, we use, instead of spelling your, we put you are. We had that same, you had to be there to know the I am signatures. You knew that was a person who did instant message, because we all had that same sort of tone to it and style. So then when text messaging now, is such a regular form of communication to where people will ignore calls and text you, right? You can call them, they'll ignore you and text you back instead. So it's become a more, instead of formal, it's just kind of the everyday way to communicate. And I think with access to that and the reliability and dependency on that, we've kind of gotten away from acknowledging text messages and even using them in a way that can still be used to, what's the word, check in on a person and know that they're gonna hit you back, right? So I feel back in about 2011 to about 2019 to right before COVID, when me and my girlfriends would text and stuff, and we would send checkup messages and checking on you messages, or WID, where you at, what are you doing messages. We would hit each other back. what that is. I'm scared to go out there now. But we would hit each other back, and we could count on that, right? We could count on that. Versus now, fast forward to several years later, if I hit a homie up or a homie hits me up, because I'm guilty of it too, which is why I'm, having this theory, because I'm not excluded from it. I'm experiencing it. But now someone might hit me up or I might hit them up, and we may not hear each back from that message for a couple days. Not holding it against each other, but I'm just saying, there's no urgency now to hit a person back when they've reached out to you, because we've got so desensitized to almost where it's just like, we'll look at it and be like, oh, okay, that's just another, rather than being like, oh, that person's thinking of me, looking for me, checking up on me, and or maybe even wanting me to communicate with them. Maybe they need somebody. So my theory is, just with the oversaturation of having access to thinking that you can talk to someone whenever you want, not knowing that a person could still be gone at any moment. You should still cherish it. Don't take it for granted. We do, though. We're like, oh, whatever, we can get back to that whenever we want. But how can you really build dependable connections, no matter how long you've known a person, if you're not willing to still put that effort in when they've reached out to you, or to be a person that reaches out to you? Don't let the illusion of access, put you on the outside, because I'm a sensitive friend. I'm kind of sentimental. So like, if I do reach out to you and you ain't been hitting me back, and then you hit me with some, oh girl, I meant to, and oh, I saw the message, but I didn't. And, I'm less inclined to do that now moving forward. And it sets a tone between the two of the two people that you're too busy, or I'm not, I don't know what the word, not that I'm not good enough, but maybe that I'm not important enough for you to respond or reply or remember to do it in a timely manner. So I think all in all, my message here is, don't take for granted the fact that you think that you can just reach a person with a quick thing when you're ready to. Because the same way you think it's easy to reach out to them, they can easily decide that they don't want to talk to you, or a person could simply not be there. I wish so badly I could call my brother, and the last time that he even reached out to me, like over phone, which is right before I had seen him for the last time, he was blowing my shit up. He was blowing me up, and I didn't want to answer because I didn't want to deal with him. We had, personal things going on, and I regret it to this very day, because he died, a month later, or like 2 months later. And it's one of the biggest regrets of my life to this day. So make it a point to reach out to people, and make it a point to respond to them when they're reaching out to you. Don't take for granted this day and age of technology, because there was a time, do you not remember, when if we moved out of a neighborhood or moved from a school, we thought that we would never see or hear from these people again, and it was heart-wrenching and it was heartbreaking. Now, when we're just like, oh, okay, I'll just see you online, and people think it's so easy. But if the internet goes down, if technology ceases to exist in the way that we know it, then what? Build meaningful connections.